welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks for spending a few minutes while we talk about movies. All right, I'm the one doing all the talking, but still, comment down below so then we can have a conversation. I love it when you guys do that. All right, so today the movie I'm reviewing is called Godzilla vs. Kong. It is available now in select theaters and on IMAX in the theaters and on HBO Max, if you happen to have that. The movie is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 53 minutes. And surprisingly, that's actually the shortest of all of the MonsterVerse films. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, and even give you some recommendations for other movies that are similar that I think you'll get a kick out of. All right, let's dive in. Welcome back to Skull Island and the fourth installment in the cinematic MonsterVerse. Whew. Fans are going crazy and losing their minds over this movie. As you can tell, I'm going to give it a good score. This is actually the very first time that an American movie features two of the greatest monster icons of all time battling it out to see who's going to be the alpha titan. This is also the first time in 59 years to feature both of these titans in the same film. This sequel is supposed to take place 5 years after the movie Godzilla, King of Monsters, and 51 years after Kong, Skull Island. This fun monster action is over the top. It's directed by Adam Wingard and has a scale that is ridiculously epic. So, those are some of the things I liked, but let me officially tell you some of the things that I liked. First of all, I really loved the beginning of the movie. It showed that the movie was going to have a very good sense of self-awareness and a good sense of humor and a reminder of why we love these monsters. The detail was fantastic. The music was fantastic. And it just put me in the mood for a really fun time. And ultimately, that's what this movie is. It's just a fun, dumb action flick with monsters. And if that's what you want to see, you will not be disappointed. So whether or not you're fan Godzilla or fan Kong, you're actually going to enjoy this movie. I personally always lean towards King Kong just because he seems like a nice guy. Godzilla, of course, can swim and fight underwater and shoots lasers and is really strong. So this kind of felt like a Batman versus Superman type of movie to me, but with monsters, of course. Now, not going to give you any spoilers, but there is a clear winner, which kind of surprised me. But again, I don't want to give you any spoilers. There's this simulated digital habitat that the humans create for Kong that you see in the beginning. And what's cool is they move to a bunch of different types of, not habitats, but different types of settings where things happen and monsters fight. And so I really liked that. That digital habitat kind of reminded me of that dome in the Hunger Games or even in the Truman Show, if you ever saw that. I loved both movies. The visual effects are just unbelievable. We're so spoiled with CGI, and the movie itself is just a visual wonder. The monsters look so sophisticated and detailed. If you can, try to see Godzilla versus Kong in IMAX at the theater. I know COVID is still happening, and I didn't see this in the theater, so I'm just saying. You don't have to wait very long when the movie starts to see King Kong and Godzilla together, at first separately, and then the fighting ensues. As I mentioned, there's a fun and humorous musical soundtrack by composer Junkie XL, who actually had already written music for Godzilla because he's such a fan. The cast is filled with some good names. For example, Alexander Skarsgård. Now, some people were surprised that he wanted to be in this movie, but when he was interviewed, he explained that he was delighted to try a different kind of movie, especially because he's been doing a lot of really dark films lately. He was really excited to work with director Adam Wingard, whom he described as smart, lovely and incredible with actors. So I hope he had a really good time, and he seemed to on screen. Kaylee Hoddle is the youngest in the cast by far and plays an adorable deaf girl in the movie who befriends King Kong and has a special connection with her. And what's interesting is that in real life, her entire family is deaf. Her presence and storyline is super sweet and very touching. Some would say it's even the heart of the movie, outside of the monsters. Brian Tyree Henry and Julian Dennison provide most of the humor and funny lines in the movie, which is actually necessary because the majority of the movie is extremely serious and dramatic. There are great sound effects too. I just got the biggest kick out of watching these massive titans face off by roaring into each other's face. And they both kind of were like, whoa. Other cast members include Rebecca Hall, Isa Gonzalez, Demian Bashir, Kyle Chandler, and Lance Reddick. They all give solid performances, but I'll talk more about the human element in just a minute. This is also Shun Ogori's first English-speaking movie, so welcome to America. There are lots of new monsters to enjoy, which I was excited about. And Acts 2 and 3 really deliver for the fans, almost nonstop action. Now, with all of that praise, there were just a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been handled even better. For example, as with all MonsterVerse movies, the human element lacks some oomph. The cast is huge, yet really unnecessary. Some of the characters just don't even need to be there. They're there to carry the story along and move it forward. But what fans really want to see is two massive monsters duking it out. Mission accomplished. For example, I really liked British actress Millie Bobby Brown in Enola Holmes on Netflix. So I was super excited to see her in this movie. But in this film, she plays kind of a feisty, intense teen with not very much charm, honestly. Her American accent is super impressive, though. And then New Zealander Julian Dennison has had way bigger roles in other movies. I thought he was really great in Hunt for the Wilder People, also on Netflix, and Deadpool 2. He has a very small role in this movie, and his storyline with Millie Bobby Brown was just kind of unneeded and even a little bit distracting. As expected, there's cliched social commentary on corporate greed and power. And you can't expect boomers to make the right choices, can you? Of course not. So kids to the rescue. There are quite a few different storylines all going on at the same time. And again, the humans kind of get in the way of what you're there to see, which is all of the monsters. There's so much neon in the movie. And then other than provide eye candy, the beautiful Isa Gonzalez doesn't really do much in the film like some of the other characters. And then ultimately, there are no end credit scenes. So sad. But the epicness of it all really does make up for it. Let me give you some quick tips for parents. First of all, there is sign language spoken with subtitles that have to be read. There's lots of destruction, lots of violence, people die. You know, it's a monster destructive movie. So no big surprise there. Some of the interesting themes that are worth talking about that the movie illustrated are hope, the power of nature, greed, power, control, home, and family. And especially that little lesson about home, I thought was really, really sweet. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down the funny lines and the interesting lines so that I can share them with you. And I put them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. I'll just share a couple of them with you right now. When I looked back on my notes, I didn't actually write down any funny lines. So there are some, but they're also spoken so quickly that I think I was distracted with all of the action and didn't write anything down. But some interesting lines are first spoken by Kyle Chandler, and he says, "People, like creatures, can change. Now, I don't know if that was meant to be some foreshadowing. And again, no spoilers, but I just thought it was an interesting line. And then Alexander Skarsgård character is talking to this very wealthy guy, and he says, I might have an idea, but it's crazy. And then the wealthy guy, played by Demian Bashir, says, I love crazy. It's made me very rich. So you instantly get insights into those two characters' personalities just with those two lines. All right, so you want to know what movie review mom grade I'm giving this film? Well, an A-. I thought for what it is and what it portrays itself to be, I thought it did a great job, and I think fans will be really happy. Now, before we go, let me give you just a couple of recommendations for other films that you should definitely check out. And these are not going to be a big surprise to you. I tried to find one Kong movie and one Godzilla movie that I remember really getting a kick out of watching. So I don't know if they're my favorites, but I just have really good feelings when I think about them. And so anyway, this is what they are. Kong Skull Island. What I loved about that is you were introduced to Kong, you got lots and lots of action, but there was also a lot of humor and some incredible settings and music and surprises. And then the Godzilla movie that I picked was from 1998, starring Matthew Broderick. I remember watching this with my young kids, and they were mesmerized, and I thought it was a lot of fun. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Be sure and click on that subscribe button before you forget. And while your mouse is so close to that, also click on that little bell icon, and it'll notify you every time I upload a new movie review or trailer reaction, which is almost every single day. And a big thanks to those of you who are going over to Patreon. I really appreciate your support there. All right, have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.